Hey there guys, this is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke, and today I'm going to talk about a little game that was announced during the latest Nintendo Direct of all things, which I found kind of interesting. Though when you look at the actual trailer, it kind of makes sense visually. Like, this almost does kind of look like it'd be a Nintendo game, and I don't know if this game is meant to be specifically for the Switch. It is coming to the other stuff, but I should probably tell you what the game is before I move on. But yeah, they announced Samurai Warriors 5 during the last Nintendo Direct. It's going to be coming out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And obviously, the Switch version seemed to be showcased. This seems to be kind of an interesting take. Or I say interesting take, but it seems to be it seems like this is almost like a prequel of the Samurai Warriors world in a way, because as you can see, or as you've seen in the trailer, if you watch the trailer, because I don't know what kind of image I'm going to use. I usually like to use like the splash page or whatever, showing the logo and then like the coming soon thing that's at the end of the trailer, and just to kind of give it my own spark. But we've got a younger Nobunaga and a younger Mitsuhide. Those two seem to be sort of like the poster boys of this game. If you remember, as far as Samurai Warriors goes, Yukimura Sanada and his brother Nobuyuki Sanada were the poster boys of Samurai Warriors 4. And Naomasa E was the poster boy for Samurai Warriors 4 2. And then, of course, Warriors of Orochi 4 and Warriors of Orochi 4 Ultimate, it was Yukimura and Zhao Yun who were the poster boys. But here it seems to be, or at the very least, in this trailer, because we've gotten more information on the game a little bit, but when they first showed the game and the trailer and the gameplay and whatnot, it seemed they were focusing on Nobunaga and Mitsuhide. You know, they're another sort of like token, sort of like two important characters. I was gonna say brothership or something. I don't know if that's really accurate, but at the very least, they were both shown and they both looked pretty young. Nobunaga, you can kind of tell, like, yeah, that's sort of like a younger Nobunaga. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if they were taking cues from how he was in Pokemon Conquest, because that featured a younger Nobunaga as well. Mitsuhide looks practically unrecognizable. Like, he does look a little bit younger, almost like he was kind of going through some sort of phase. But, like, when you look at how Mitsuhide is generally designed and you look at how he looks here, he looks completely different. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for like them showing his name, but then also Hikaru Midorikawa doing the voiceover, because I'm pretty sure it's still him. His voice is kind of iconic. It'd be kind of hard to recast him. Though I should know that I think they did recast Tadakatsu Honda, which is interesting. That does kind of make sense because, again, I think they're going for sort of like a prequel, sort of like everyone's younger kind of thing. So it makes sense that a character with that low of a booming voice would get recast. I'm pretty sure Nobunaga is still the same guy. I believe his name is Jiroda Kosugi. Thanks, Wikipedia. I had to look it up. I thought his name was Kosuke. It's something that I decided to cut that part out and be like, well, let me actually look up what his name is and try to get it right. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but I don't care. But I'd wager it's the same guy again. I don't know, but he actually almost kind of looks like Mitsurugi in a way from Soul Calibur. But yeah, and they've revealed some other characters. Because of where this game takes place, I feel like there's a chance Yukimura won't be in the game. A lot of the characters who show up later in the timeline, during like near the end of the Warring States period, probably after the Tokugawa become the shogun, or Ieyasu Tokugawa becomes which, by the way, Ieyasu, they showed him as well. He looks completely different as well. Like, he almost looks like he had sort of like a very sort of like how do I put this without sounding like an asshole? he has a very softer look, which is gonna, I don't know his story, the history behind him, so it's gonna be kind of interesting to see if, like, he hardens up down the line or something, or maybe if they play with his design a little bit to make him to make the older and the younger forms match a little bit. Which I am glad they're doing that, because that's what I really liked about Spirit of Sanada. was that there were a handful of characters that did grow. Yukimura being one of the few who had like a child, sort of like teenager, and then full on adult form. And of course, there were plenty of characters who didn't age. Characters who were with the family from the very beginning, yet it was kind of implied that they were like 70 years old or whatever. Poor Nike. Masayuki, I bet, will be in this game. Speaking of which, Masayuki, I bet, will probably be in this game, so I'll probably use him a lot. Probably his younger form. Again, I don't know. But they did say that there are only going to be 27 characters. But like I said, 27 characters from the usual like large amount of characters. That's kind of small. Unless I'm reading the. I don't know. Samurai Warriors seem to have more. I thought they at least had like 50. I thought I can look that up real quick while I'm talking, but yeah. So it seems like the number of characters is going to be a lot smaller, which for regular Samurai Warriors 4 was at 55. Thanks to Wikipedia again. Yeah, they've trimmed down the characters relatively significantly. Again, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that a lot of younger character, or rather, a lot of characters who show up pretty early in the storyline are going to be there. They may or may not grow older. Depending on how this game does the storyline, they might kill off a lot of characters kind of young. This will also be a good chance for them to sort of bring in some characters that didn't really have much, like, let's see, Shingen Takeda will probably be in the game. His son might be in the game again, which that'd be cool. Though since it's focusing on Nobunaga, it's hard to say exactly how far. For all we know, this could be one of those games to where like it mainly focuses on Nobunaga, but then like when you beat the game, you like unlock all these other characters, almost like a weird like Spirit of Sonata 2, but focused on Nobunaga. Again, I don't know. I assume that they might do it kind of the way Samurai Warriors 4 did it, to where it's like instead of being based on the character, it'll be based on the faction. And because Samurai Warriors has so many different like factions and groups, like it's not like Dynasty Warriors where you've got like Wei Wu and Shu and then Jin. Here you've got like the Sanada family, the Tokugawa family, the Toyotomi army, all that stuff. Nobunaga's army, which is probably going to be featured here too. But so who knows? Because there's only 27 characters, they could actually probably get away with having like each individual character having their own story. I'm not usually one for playing the entire, like every character's story. Those remember my Dynasty Warriors 9 review. I really only did 3 characters because I wanted like the most complete timeline of one sort of like area. Because I did like Cao Cao, and then I did Sima Yi, and then I did Sima Zhao to have sort of like this is from the beginning of Wei to the end of Wei, So, who knows? There is some other information about the game. I haven't really looked too much into it. I've mainly been I've really only seen like the first trailer, which it seems like they're going for sort of like a cel shaded sort of like a slight Okami kind of look, seemingly not heavily sort of like pastel-y like that, but and again, I think there's a chance that might primarily be for the Switch version. I think that they could be maybe cutting the game down for the Switch version. I suppose they could have shown the PS4 and whatnot version by now, but it seems like the Switch version is kind of like the focus, sort of like the showcase version right now. I'll probably get the game on PS4 unless there's like some sort of bonus for getting the Switch version or whatever. I have Samurai Warriors 3 on the Wii, so it's not like I only play Samurai Warriors on PlayStation. I play it on other stuff as well. I still have Samurai Warriors Chronicles on the 3DS. That was my first 3DS game. But I'll probably get it on PS4. We do know the release date. It's going to be coming out June 24th in Japan, then July 27th in the West. So, a little bit of a delay, but, no biggie. I imagine the game's probably not going to be dubbed. They haven't dubbed Samurai Warriors in a while. Like they dubbed the anime, but that was an entire recast. I guess they could. This actually would be a good time to do a new dub, because then like these are sort of different versions of these characters, so you can kind of get away with recasting a little bit. Though of course I liked the what the cast ended up being for Samurai Warriors. It was a nice cast, but for what we had, I think it was 3. I think was the last one. It was either Warriors of Orochi 2 was like right before, and then like Samurai Warriors 3 was like the last of the dubs, and of course 4 didn't have a dub, and it's gotten to where like only the regular Dynasty Warriors games have dubs, and like every other game in like the Warriors universe, all the spin-offs are only subtitled, which is okay. And because since this is a samurai game, it's like, well, obviously it's going to be in Japanese. I mean, this is a Japanese game that takes place in Japan, so kind of makes sense that it would be have the Japanese voiceover, and it'd be okay for them not to dub it, you know. Speaking of which, I don't know how that makes sense, but seemingly Mitsuhide style seems to be about the same from what I can tell. Nobunaga's they've switched up. He's got sort of like a longer katana instead of like his like sort of glowing sort of like straight sword, which I actually kind of liked because it made him unique. But here they're sort of like changing it up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe they'll kind of play up his style a little bit. Again, for all I know, they could be doing the Spirit of Sonata thing to where you've got the younger versions of the characters and then you got the older versions, which that would be cool. I'd be curious to kind of see what they're going to do with those designs. And again, I do think that because of what this game seems to be trying to do, we may not get too many. And plus, just the fact that there are only 27 characters from what they've said, we're probably not going to get like everybody. Not unless it's DLC, but then like, you know, that's okay because I can find other characters to, you know, play as. Like I said, if Masayuki is in the game, I'll just play as him and let him be my boy because he's cool. But other than that, I'll probably just play as. I'll probably do Nobunaga's story first, assuming that there's even other story modes or whatever. But we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. I was actually kind of surprised that they went ahead and announced it. They did announce that Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires was going to be delayed indefinitely, and I'm wondering if this is part of the reason why. We'll just have to kind of see how it goes. Hopefully they're not going to try and pull a Dynasty Warriors 9 and just really change up the formula or whatever. I think they're trying to change up a little bit, and that's okay if they want to change up a little bit, but like don't change too much of like the main combat and whatnot, because that's sort of what makes these Warriors games or Muso games or whatever you want to call them kind of fun, is sort of like the mindless sort of just flow of action. And Dynasty Warriors 9 definitely kind of broke that up, and it kind of ruined things a little bit. So maybe this will be sort of like their chance to sort of try something different with a whole brand new game instead of trying to fix something like they're doing with Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. But we will have to see. But yeah, I'm definitely going to pick it up when it comes out, and it'll be pretty fun. If it's online, then maybe we can all play together. I wonder if this game's going to have the edit mode that they've been doing. Because it's kind of funny how, like, you know, we still got Samurai Warriors 4 Empires, even though technically we don't need one anymore, because 3 started the whole, like, edit mode thing, where you can make your own character. And then, of course, Samurai Warriors 4, they brought it back and gave, like, a whole other mode, which you also use to unlock characters, but they sort of upped the customization for the characters, so we can actually kind of do more with customizing your character, which is interesting. So who knows? That'd be another way to sort of expand the longevity of this game a little bit, I think, if you want to have a custom or an edit mode or whatever. But then they'll end up doing Samurai Warriors 5 Empires, and then bam, here we go. But again, who knows? It does look fun, and I look forward to playing it. You'll hear me talk about it whenever I get it and play through it, because I know I take a while with things, but I just kind of wanted to give sort of my initial thoughts on it and sort of, you know, speak my mind on this bad boy. I don't want this to be too long, so I guess I'll go ahead and wrap up here, and I'll just say, looks pretty interesting, and I'm interested to see kind of what they do with it, and hopefully it'll be good. Alrighty, this is Flames Are On, aka YouTube Tasuke, signing out. See you later.